technical breakdowns. I'm going to be taking you through, not Caleb. You can see I'm using his Zoom, but I'm going to take you through. So I'm going to share with you the different markets that I'm watching and the different setups that I'm looking for. I'll start at 7:45. It's 7:43. So just 2 more minutes, then I'll jump in. Hey, Caleb. Wanna come? Okay guys, so welcome back. Like I was saying, I'll be taking you through. This is the first week of August. Tomorrow is 1st August, so I consider this the first week of August with 1 day in July. I look at markets from a perspective of week to week, but I'm very focused on monthly closes, new pivotal formations for me to know how to position myself for the month, for me to know the monthly outlook that I should use as I'm trading. So let me just scan through different markets for you guys to see what I'm watching, the different markets that I'm watching. I think after we're done, you guys will ask me questions. With regards to fundamentals, I think the big three, what was very, very important has already taken place last week. So last week we saw the first things that happened. We saw the Fed's hike interest rates. We saw ECB also hike interest rates, and we saw the Bank of Japan not hiking, but today they announced a bond buying program, which has made the yen significantly weaker for the day. However, I can see some recoveries as the day comes to an end. It's 12:45 in New York, so about 3 more hours of trading. I think markets close at around 4:30 New York time. So as you can see price, the way it's shaping up, you can know how to position yourself under the different markets and how to manage any setups if you have any. Anyway, I'll first look at gold. Let me just go through gold. I think I want to look at how markets have been behaving on this pair. So I'll start off from the weekly chart. On the weekly chart last week, gold had an indecisive candle, sort of nothing pretty much happened. We had a move to the upside, a move to the downside, and then we closed somewhere around fair value. However, what I'm paying attention to from this perspective is this bounce that we got at 1900 level. As you can see, we rejected the level and started moving higher. So I'm expecting a move to break the 2000 level. If the bulls take over the market, we could break 2000 and rally to 2100. That's one of the levels and setups that I'm watching. However, on the downside, for me to pivot to extremely bearish, I'd want a close below 1900. Okay, so if I go down to the daily chart, let me just go down to the daily chart. On the daily chart, we have 3 trendline bounces, suggesting that the bulls still have control of this market. Last month, we had a move above fair value area. We came as close as to R2, but then we came back lower. This month, you can see we opened around 1950, bounced off the level. We bounced off 1950. And on the 4-hour chart, I had this beautiful setup here. I had this 1, 2, 3 trendline bounce. You can see we came for the liquidity level 1950. And then we saw a significant rally to the upside. Probably will bounce off this line. Then you could start seeing a move to S1 and probably S2 and the S3 level on the downside. Okay, so that's my outlook on gold. The next pair that I'll look at is, let me just scan through the next pair that I'll look at. This is the next pair that I'll look at, oil. Oil has also started a good bull run. I think we had some sideways movement, but last week's price action in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've seen oil move from 70, now we're at 80. I think there's a high chance this setup will complete. We could see a move to 94, 95 on the extreme cases, so still very, very bullish on oil. After we took out this trend line, I became extremely bullish, looking for markets to go higher. On the daily chart, if I go down, you can see markets are trading already above the R3 level. We are trading above 80. So I'm very keen to see how pivots will come out for the new month, to know if these markets come back to fair value for the month before we continue, where precisely I'll be looking for the price. But at the moment, I don't have any clear pattern here. I was watching for a probable third bounce around the fair value area, around the 80, 79.5 mark, somewhere around here. Never came along. Instead, we got a bullish continuation. So price is currently there. Still watching to see what is likely to happen. Then the next market I'll look at is the Dow. Here I have a very, very good, I think there's a very big move coming on this market. The timing is the critical thing. I think there's a big move, but the timing is very, very critical. I've tried to time it. Last week I was short. It never worked. It never had a continuation to the levels. This week I opened, I came in long. But as I'm watching markets, I'm developing ideas that I should be short, not long. But I'll go through that. So looking at the weekly, you can see last week we had some move to the upside, but then we came back to close below 35,500. And on the daily chart, if you pay attention, you'll see that 35,500 is a liquidity level that we've not taken out for quite some time. So if you're below this level, then you're likely to see 35,000 and probably 34,000, 34,500. But the new pivots will really determine how we should position ourselves, because there's also a possibility of us seeing 36,000 before we see this price moving lower. And I think the function of whether it's up or down is purely determined by how the new pivotal formations will open. On the 4-hour chart, it's quite clear. We've gotten a first, second, third bounce. Around R1, we've started moving higher. It's clear again that 35,500, we are struggling, really struggling to go above this level. It looks like momentum is pointing to the downside, so I wouldn't be surprised by this trend line being taken out and market sliding to S1, S2, S3 level. However, there's also the potential of a bounce from this level, and you could see R1 and R2, or precisely even the R3 level on the upside. So that's my outlook on the Dow. The next market that I'll look at is US 100 or the Nasdaq. On the weekly chart on the Nasdaq, what's happening? Markets have closed above 15,500. We've seen some momentum pushing markets higher. We are now at 15,750. If I come down to the daily chart, what do we have? Markets have closed above the R2. You can see last week's Friday close was very significant. However, if you're paying attention to today's price action, with only 4 hours remaining towards the market close, markets are doing nothing. Pretty much nothing. We've just moved sideways. I like saying nothing when markets have moved sideways. So if you come down to the 4 hour, you can see we're sort of trapped in a triangle. We bounced off 750, bounced off 500. Last week, that was basically the price action, moving up, down between these two levels. Now, if you reject 750, probably see a sell-off moving lower to 15,250. If we take out 750, I wouldn't be surprised by a move to 16,000. So in simple terms, there's a move. It's the timing of the move that is critical if you're going to make any money from this market. The next market that I'll look at is the euro. On the weekly chart, the euro has rejected the 1.1 major level. So you can see we had significant bullish momentum. Then you have this pattern candle formation retesting the 1.1. If we stay above this level, I'm looking for 1.15. That's a very easy trade. If I go down on the daily, you can see we have nice third bounces. So we've gotten the first, second, third, 1.1 again. Just watching price action and the behavior of price action. New pivots again, very critical. And then on the 4-hour time frame, you can see I'm actually long. I'm looking for this market to start moving higher, probably to R1 and then R2, which is the next upside target. So that's my outlook on euro dollar. The next market that I look at is the pound. The pound on the weekly chart. Last week we had some bearish close around the 2875 level. We tried going higher, but then quickly came back very, very fast. I was in that sell-off. On the daily chart, you can see markets came, had a correction, and then you had another move lower. I'm looking for a move to test this 2750. I think there's a high chance on the 4-hour time frame. What I think is likely to happen is we could get these markets today or tomorrow jumping to bounce off this line 2950. Then we could see a move back lower to retest 2750, and then a continuation. But if new pivots open and the market stays above 2875, breaks this trend line, then I think we could see R2 and probably R3, 1.33125 on the upside. Then I look at euro yen. So you can see this move from 152.5, very aggressive, to 157.5. If I look at it using my process again from the weekly chart, you can see clearly markets tried going below 155, big trouble. We've seen move from 140 to 155. I was looking for 160 last week, but I was taken out by this move to the downside. By the time markets came back, I had been taken out. So markets have come back, so we are likely to see R3, probably 165. On the daily chart, we've gotten 1, 2, 3 bounces around the fair value area and 155. If we stay above the level, we are likely to move to the 160 level on the upside. On the 4-hour time frame, markets have reacted around the 157.5 level and started moving lower. So we had a move from 152.5, took out 155, and moved to 157.5. It looks like we're rejecting the level. I think we could retest 156.25, then we could rally to R2, which is 158.75, but we could also take out 156.25 and move significantly lower to the 155 level. However, for me, when I talk about probable moves, sometimes I don't take part in all of these moves. I think what is very critical for me is the risk-reward ratio, also being in line with the pattern and setup that I trade, and at least having a feel and being in sync with markets. I think like today, if you look at markets, you can see pretty much most markets have done nothing. This one is down 0.05, 0.04, 0.11, 0.08. I think from tomorrow we could start seeing some moves develop. And that's why I'm saying it's very important to wait for the new pivotal formations for us to know how we'll position ourselves to be able to benefit and to make money from some of the moves that will take place in the market. So those are the different markets that I'm watching. I think the final one that I can go through is the dollar. The dollar has been moving lower for quite some time. But then last week we saw a move to the upside. We had this move from this $100 level and started moving higher. How far do I expect this market to go? I think 102.5 is the next sell-off point that I'm looking for. On the 4-hour time frame, I think there's a very good probable setup coming along here. I don't want to be a buyer if we tap on 1.25 and we bounce off this line. I don't want to be a buyer to 102.5. But new pivotal formations again will determine, because what I'm suspecting is we could see a move to bounce off this level tomorrow and then probably a move to the upside, which would mean the other markets will come back lower. So you can see clearly I have a lot of probable moves, but no clear clarity. Unlike many times when I'm doing the analysis and I see a clear path to profit, sometimes you just do the analysis and all you can come up with is probable scenarios of what is likely to happen in markets. So once that's the case, I think you just need to think around how you'll position yourself to benefit from the different moves that are likely to take place in the market. So those are the markets that I'm watching. Those are the patterns, setups that I'm tracking along. I'd want to answer any question if there is any. If there is no question, I think I've shared with you what I have on my radar, or what I'm basically watching in the market. Those are the markets I'm looking at: oil and the other different markets. Any questions? Anyone with a question? Okay, so clearly I see no question. I think we'll stop there. We'll catch up next time on Monday. Probably I won't be the one doing it. My colleague will be doing it. We'll share with you the different outlooks. So keep trading, keep watching markets, keep tracking markets, and may the pips be with you as you do your trading.